everybody, it's Kim here from Kyms Homestead, here in the kitchen with you once again. So, yesterday I explained why I was not continuing with the pantry challenge and I had purchased a whole heap of meat. Now, in that meat I'd also gotten 2 kilos of chicken necks, and I told you I was going to attempt mind you, to try and make my cat food. I go through quite a lot of cat food, even though there's only 2 little moggies. They are very well fed and spoiled. So I used to make it before and it was fine, and life got in the way and I just stopped making it. So I'm going to try and make it again in hopefully a form that they will like. So what I'm going to do is, this big bag of chicken necks is actually going into my big roasting dish, and I'm going to roast it in the oven for an hour or 2. I also have a bag of chicken feet. Now this will provide a lot of collagen in the meal. It'll also provide that gel effect, I'm hoping. I know with broth it does, so I'm hoping the canned effect will have the same deal once they're cooled down. I also have a chicken now, or parts thereof. I'm going to remove the meat because I still want the chicken for my sandwiches and for casseroles and whatnot through the week, and for just eating with salad. But the bones I'm actually going to throw into the roaster with the rest of the bones and bake them up, and they will go into making a really, really rich roast chicken broth. All the meat from these chicken necks and from the feet, I will pick off the bones once they're all boiled up for a few hours or cooked up. Hold that thought. Nuisance callers. Blink and spam. Anyway, so once the bones are all roasted, I will throw them all in a large pot and fill it with water. Then I will boil them for probably a few hours. I could throw them into the pressure cooker and pressure cook them, but I can't be bothered. So I'm just going to boil them for a few hours. Then I will pick off all the meat, throw them back into the boiler, and throw some veggies in as well. So it'll be nice chicken meat and vegetables. I've got a full head of homegrown garlic. I think that's the last of me homegrown garlic, and that can go in. I'm going to roast that as well, so it will have roasted garlic. So the first thing to do is to pick all the meat off of this cooked chook and put it back in the fridge, and then throw all these bones into the roasting dish with a little bit of oil, some salt to season it, and put it in there for about an hour and let it roast. So I'll be back when it's about to go into the boiler. Now I always cut these nails off of the chicken's feet. This is just some old oil that needed to go out. So I'm not using the good oil on them. Right, all I'm going to do with this garlic is just chuck it in like that, and it can roast up just like that. Now a bit of salt over the top to draw out any moisture. Also give it some flavour. and that goes in the oven. Right, now to clean up a little bit. Okay, that goes in the fridge. This will go into the pot later on when the other meat's cooked and separated. So that can go back in the fridge. Now, it's time to cut up a few veggies. And then these will all be ready later on. So here I have some peas. These are came out of the garden. Here I have some spring onion that also came out of the garden. Just needs a rough chop. It'll all cook down later on. Here I have some celery. This will add quite a lot of flavour to it. And some carrots. Now I'm not going to worry about peeling or cutting the ends off or anything like that, and once again it'll just be a rough chop. They're going to be boiled with a few hours anyway, and then they'll probably be mashed together, so I'm not too worried about them. And there we go, and the pre-prep is done. Now all I have to do is clean up and wait for the meat to be roasted. So I'll be back when it's all done. Okay, well the chicken necks have now been on for about an hour, and about half an hour ago I got in and give them a good stir around. They're about ready to come out now, so I'll pull them out of the oven. I've got my big pot here. In there I've got 4 litres of water, and I've got, this is hot water, just out of the tap, and I've got another 2 litres right beside me here in case I need some more. So I'll pull these out of the oven. They're looking pretty good. Now I'll just transfer these to the pot. Oh, you can smell that roasted garlic. Now I'm also going to be incorporating the fat that came out of the chicken, because that's all going to be flavour. And we want it nice and tasty for our pets. Hard to hold on to. It's pretty hot. I'll put a bit of water in here. Just let that soak all those flavours off the bottom of that pan. And we'll put this in the pot in a few minutes' time. Give it time to soak off. In the meantime, we'll get the chicken out, the chicken carcasses, or carcass. Right, and don't forget the drippings in the bottom of this bag. That's all beautiful flavouring. Okay, add a bit more salt to that. Now, that's good. This will go on the stove and it'll cook for about 3 hours. Not on a rapid boil, just on a simmer. Well everybody, it's now actually 2 days later. This pot has been well cooked and has been sitting in the fridge, and it's a nice gelatinous mixture, which is what I wanted. Now it took me all day, yes, hello Barney, all day yesterday to pick all the meat off of the bones. So I'm not sure whether this is actually going to be worth my time or not, because honestly this is the 3rd day. Well, the 3rd half day really, because it takes me at least half a day to be able to get moving. But I've got a full, I think it's a 2-litre ice cream container full of meat and cartilage and whatever else comes off the bones. A lot of goodness anyway. What I also have is a container here that I've got some chopped veggies. These were whatever came out of the garden, and a couple of old veggies I had in the fridge. And once again, here's some veggies that I had prepared for meals, but they haven't been used, so it's time to either use them or use them in something else, and I have no plans to be using them for the next couple of days. So they're going to go into the cat food mixture. Now last night I had a chicken and rice meal, and I cooked a whole heap of extra rice. Yes, I know you're not supposed to put rice in with your canned foods, but I have done it before with the cat food and it's perfectly alright. Didn't bother them. The jars were sealed completely. This is cooked rice. There were no tops lifted, nothing like that. So if you're not comfortable putting rice in with your cat food, don't do it. Just because I'm doing it doesn't mean you have to follow me. So just go with the meat and the vegetables and you'll be fine. I plan on pureeing it all up anyway, and it will come out a nice solid, like a cat loaf. But I had extra rice, I can't deal with it, so it's going into pot. So that's what I'll be doing right now, putting all this in the pot. I'll be cooking up the vegetables, then when it's all cooked I'm going to put in my stick blender and blend it all to a puree. Then I will be canning it. So the next step is to put it all in. Okay, so this is going to go onto the stove for probably half an hour, I'd say, until the veggies are cooked. Maybe longer, because I do want the veggies quite mushy. So I'll be back, and when it's time to jar it all up. Well, the pot's all cooked up, and I have already blitzed it. So what I have now is, it's like a nice thick, really thick sauce. So it should firm up quite well when it's in the jar. So now I'm ready to can it. And I have my big ladling spoon, my little make-do magnet thingy, because I still haven't found my other one yet, my debubbler, my lids, which are in really boiling tap water, not boiled water but tap water, and a little bit of vinegar, my always rag, and some extra vinegar, my funnel, and my jar lifters. Now the jars are sitting in really hot tap water, because this has just come off the stove, and therefore it's going to be very hot. So you do not want temperature shock in your jars, because that will kill your jars basically. It will shatter them. I have my canner on the stove with also hot tap water in it, and I will actually put that onto low. My jars are in the sink in hot tap water, so they're nice and hot, everything else is hot, so I'm ready to get going. So I'll get some jars and put the stove on very low to keep that water hot. So I've just got the stove on simmer at the moment. See, it's like a really nice thick gravy, I'd say. Lots of goodness in here. We should fill the little darlings up. Now I fill it about an inch head space, so a little bit more than that actually, so I'll just get a spoon. So yep, that should be good. I'm afraid I'm a very messy canner, so mess goes everywhere. Can't be helped. So I'll take you through what I do now. It's time to clean up the jars. So here's me always rag. First of all, even though it's like a soupy mix, it will still need debubbling. So I just run the debubbler around it. And always around the top. Make sure there's no food on the top of the rim. Then get your top. Put it on, and into the canner this goes. No, still the wrong top. Somewhere I've got the right top for this. Right. I know I've got it because I had it on me. And there it is. So, you get the general drift of what I'm doing. So, I'll bring you back when they're all full and the can is ready to go. Now we're going to let it steam for 10 minutes. Hey Google, put the timer on for 10 minutes. Hey, the timer's gone off. Time to bring it up to pressure. Now we're just starting off our little hula hula dance, and there we have the first gentle rocking motion. So now it's time to turn it down a little bit so that it continues its gentle motion and not get any worse, and that will can for 75 minutes. There we go. Now I've turned it down to a medium heat, and you've got to be careful at this stage you don't turn it down too far, because if it actually stops rocking you've got to turn the heat up and start the process all over again. Once you get to your canner and your stove, you'll know what temperature to turn it down to. Unfortunately, my new stove does not have any writing on the dials, so I may have to get a paint pen and write it on there. But anyway, it looks like it's going to be fine on medium heat, and I will set the timer now for 75 minutes. So that made 11 jars of cat food. So there's 10 here and one I have in the fridge that wasn't quite filled enough to pressure can. So, but there's 10 here to go on the shelf, and the 11th one is for me to try with the cats. They're not overly wrapped in it. Barney just says yuck. Patches says, well, it's food, okay, I'll give it a try. But if they get hungry enough, they will eat it. So that 2 kilos of chicken necks made 11 jars of cat food. So, and these are quite large jars. These are your sauce bottle jars. A couple of smaller ones there, but that's all right. So that's probably a good, at least 2 weeks worth of food there that I don't have to purchase. So I have got 4 big fish in the freezer that's probably been there a bit too long, so I'm going to be making cat food out of that. And I've got a heap of lamb bones in the freezer in the shed. So they're also going to be turned into broth and cat food. So there we have it. So for a little bit of effort, yes, it's taken a few days, but honestly, I don't have that much more to do. So for a little bit of effort, time and effort that it's taken, I now have at least a good 2 weeks worth of free cat food. But, well, it's not free because I had to buy the chicken necks, but they were only $5 something. I'll say $6 worth. Yeah, so for $6 I've got over 2 weeks worth of cat food. The rest of the ingredients I had on hand or needed to be used. Yeah, so a little bit of time and effort, as I said. So there we have canning your own cat food. It's as simple as that, it really is. As I said, the next one will be some fish that I need to get out of the freezer, and I can't eat a huge big fish in one piece, and I don't like fish that much anyway, so the cats can have it, they love fish. And the rest of it, I need to do something with the bones that I've had stored in the freezer for nearly 12 months now. So I really have to do something with them and try and free up some freezer space. That was the whole point of the last pantry challenge I did. And even though I think I did a fairly good job at freeing up some space, it wasn't anywhere near enough. So, there we have it. It's as simple as that. Try it yourself. Alright. Have a good one, my friends, and I will see you on the next video. So if you like this video, give me a big chickeny thumbs up and subscribe for more. Alright, bye guys.